Hi, I'm Matt from Interformula, and welcome to our Research and Development Centre. We do all forms of research and development, all the way from designing and developing our own race cars, to simulators, to running cars in racing series and rallying all over the world. We also do a lot in the Asian Classic Car Championship, so do look out for us. For any information, do contact us with the number down below.
Belum unmute. Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the wonderful Summit Point Raceway here in West Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C., for a fantastic day today as we look down there at Mohammed Khalif at the chute, coming into the carousel section there. And welcome to free practice 1 of round 5 of the Adrenaline Impact iRacing Malaysia Championship in the MX-5 cars here at Summit Point. A special thanks go out to our sponsors for this evening: Works Engineering, Lucas Oil, Oregon Engineering, Stream.my, Simology, Pico Media, Sim Racing Enthusiasts, Dot Motorsports, and Interformula. My name is Matthew Powell, and I will be taking you through this practice session. As we see there, 55 minutes have gone in the 1 hour and 20 minute practice session. That works out to 80 minutes worth of practice time for these guys, which is going to be all critical for the race this coming Sunday. The Summit Point, very short circuit, but very, very challenging indeed for these guys to try and tackle. You can see the guys coming out of the hairpin into the chute. And further up there, we can see Freddie Ang heading up from the chute, coming down into the carousel section there. Very difficult corner. There's a little bit of banking coming into the first part there, and in the second part you can see there a slightly milder version of Germany's carousel section with that little concrete patch. Now through the S's, this is very, very important for the rest of the lap. And then down into the paddock section there, Freddie Young, part of the URT, the Uncle Racing team, the Tedco supported team there, with Tigwejan and Ruben Wong as well, practicing away for these. A lot of the guys right now will be trying different strategies at this point of the race, whilst a few of the others would have been trying off their quickest lap time. And so far, Saiful Arifin is quite predictably in the lead. He's been doing absolutely fantastic in terms of one lap pace. Ilham Halabi right now is not too sure where he is right now on the circuit, if he is back there. But Saiful Arifin there in the lead with a 1:24.159. I'm sure he'll be working to try and lower that time. In second position right now in the pits is Nigel Chua, out there trying to improve his lap time. In third is Timku Ezan, there at a 1:24.4 and a 1:24.6. Ilham Halabi there is in the chat. Aha! So Ilham Halabi there deciding not to take to the practice. He's definitely got enough raw talent and a lot of experience. He's been racing since in iRacing since the start of the platform, so you can imagine how much experience he has around tracks like this. Ilham Halabi there saying not sure if he's able to get home on time. Well, as long as you get home safely, that's the main important thing. Drive safe out there, folks. Keep the shenanigans in the simulator. But having said that, Ilham Halabi is still in the lead of the championship by quite a margin.
No,
So
I
hope-
think he got passed by Norazam.
Nor Azam.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Ilham didn't manage to secure a good position on race 4, round 4.
All right.
So let me try to find the results for you to see.
Yeah, we'll have a go trying to get the points up on there. But definitely things are heating up in the driver's standing at the moment. Dropped by miles, Ilham Halabi says there in the chat. And by the way, anyone else in the watching right now, don't be too afraid to drop a comment down in the chat box there below. We'll try and read it out during this free practice 1 session. And while you're there, hit like and share the page with your friends to share the goodness all around, and hopefully see if they like it.
Okay, let's just have a quick glimpse of the top 10.
Alrighty, so right now on 100 points exactly, Aman Norazam is in the lead of the championship with Saiful Arifin very close behind with 97. Kavinder Singh is third with 83. Wicket Low is fourth with 82, and Ilham Halabi is fifth in 81. So very, very, very close battle for third position there.
We have a
Separated
new
by
top
1
10
point each.
member also, Tengku Izan. He managed to get himself in the top 10. Congratulations! And he is coincidentally he won the sportsmanship award for round 4.
Yeah. So congratulations to Tunga Inzan for winning the sportsmanship award, and it also goes to show that if you do try and keep your nose clean, you can do very, very well in these races, and he's managed to bring himself into the top 10, which is fantastic news for the URT team, and that will help themselves out in the Drivers' Championship as well. So Tunga Inzan lay there, right now he is in third position, looking very, very fast. It looks like this is a racetrack that'll suit him quite well. It's a little bit bumpy, it's a little bit old school, but if anybody can hold the car sideways, it should be Ezan. Tengku Ezan having quite a bit of experience in the world of motorsports, known as Mr. 10 by his friends, of which there are many out there right now who are watching. Do say hi. We'll pass the message along, and of course a lot of these drivers will be streaming as well, so if you do get a chance later on, do check out some of the streams. There have been some quite interesting moments and actions that you can catch, so if you need a little bit of a midweek fix, I have been watching a couple of streams myself, and it's quite entertaining. Shami Aizan, not normally down there in 12th position, he's usually a little bit quicker than that. Let's get the car really sideways there. Just about holds the catch. Well held.
Yeah, he managed to save the car. If you
yeah.
if you see the standings now, it's up to P19, and the first 13 guys are in the 124s.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer together. This is almost like V8 supercars, where the entire field is covered by 2 or 3 seconds at most. So this is some absolutely spectacular stuff out there right now. Another mover shaker up the field is Ruben Wong. He's been improving quite a lot over the course of the season. And just as I said that, commentator's curse, he's just dipped the wheel off in the gravel there. One of the
So okay, positivity equals negativity on the track. So you have to say something negative.
Oh God, Ruben Wong's terrible. I can't stand it. I'm just joking. I do know Ruben Wong quite well. He's a well-known, well-liked, both as a driver and as an engineer in Asian motorsports, and he is very highly regarded in the sort of local motor racing scene.
He's involved with the Legacy team, right?
He's involved with the Legacy team. He is very heavily involved in TEDCO. He is to TEDCO, I believe, what I am to into Formula. Very, very close indeed. And yeah, a lot of experience, both working on the cars and driving the cars. If there was ever someone who can race a car all on his own, prepare the car and drive the car and race the car, probably the only person in Malaysia who can manage to do that would be Ruben Wong or the Asia Classic Car Championship guys, because a lot of those guys turn up with a van and a mini, and it's absolutely awesome. One man shows. Although, of course, the most successful teams obviously are still those who work together in a group. Speaking of which, I don't know if you've heard of the announcement that was made by the government here in Malaysia earlier today. It looks like, and it sounds like, motor racing events may soon be back up and running again, so hopefully we'll see some live action fairly shortly.
Effective on 15th of July, I think. Was it? I wasn't sure, but within minutes of the announcement, I got 3 calls from organizers already. So I hope we are back on track after this, but we're not missing out on the sim racing. We'll continue on this season to as long as there's momentum, as long as there's support from the participants and sponsors. We'll go on and for how long as we could. So we hope that this current momentum is very good, and the participation rate will still maintain throughout the next seasons.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a lot of fun, and we hope we can continue this for the years to come, because personally I've enjoyed it quite a bit. I've never commentated more in my life. It's been great practice, not only for you guys out there, but these FP1 sessions have been good practice for me. Unfortunately, I had to skip a couple of them, but hopefully I'll be here for the rest of the season for sure, and for many more seasons to come. I should point out as well, for those of you who've just joined us for round 5, you'd hear my voice there, Matthew Palmer, the AI MC commentator, but on the overlay as well you would see the steward's name, Paduka Shoaib. He is still trying to get back and try to join us later on in the evening. And the other man you've heard just now was our race director, Khairul Alam. And it's been great though, this first season. A lot of exciting racing has gone down.
It's quite tough for Shamir. He's been trying lots of laps, but he can't manage to break that time that he managed just now is 0.98.
It's very difficult. Sometimes in practice, it's very difficult to try and improve your lap time. You get into this rut where you try the same thing over and over again, and sometimes it leads into that famous saying, insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So occasionally you'll see these drivers who should be capable of much faster lap times sort of being stuck there.
Okay, here's a quick recap of the track. So it's local time here is 3 o'clock. Okay, can you go on? Can you see the text?
Yes, I can. So yeah, it's 3 o'clock right now up there in Jefferson County.
And it's May the 15th. So we travel back in time.
Just to try and get nice conditions for these guys to go out practicing. So he's picked a nice day with the sun's out and shining. Winds are fairly low, fairly moderate, only gusting up to about 7 kilometers an hour, coming up from, if I remember my geography correctly, west-southwest. Sorry, northwest.
Okay.
I try. It's 25 degrees out there and almost exactly 1 bar of pressure, 37 degrees, so very, very good conditions right there. The track temperature is a little bit warm at 47 degrees Celsius, but all in all, a great day to have some racing fun.
What happened there? Let's go on to back to Afizul Jai.
So Afizul Jai has had a bit of an up and down season, but right now he's on the up, 6th position. He's been doing quite well. Jai Bluebird, as he's known, his friends there. Ilham Labi there saying no. Hopefully he gets back in time to join us. He has about 12 minutes to go, I believe, before the start of qualifying session, and a few more minutes then. It'll be, I believe, 10 minutes qualifying and 20 minutes for the race.
30 minutes for the race.
30 minutes for the race. Yes, so it's 10 minutes for qualifying, 30 minutes for the race, and as you can see there, Fizzlejai giving one of the Speed Tavern guys a bit of pressure coming from the back. As you can see here, the tendency for the stock setups, because we'll have to explain. That's Nigel Chua up the front there, sliding around. I do have to explain that the cars here have what's known as a fixed setup, so they're not allowed to change anything in the car's setup. All the cars are set up exactly the same, so it's down to the driver's skill to try and drive around anything in the setup that is not quite to their liking. So usually in sim racing, the drivers are allowed to change the setup and try and get the cars working better, but to try and even the field out and to bring it all down to the driver's skill, all the cars are set up identically. So they are driving in literally identical cars, driving around there. And the unique thing about Summit Point here is that the MX-5 likes to get sideways around here. You won't see the car understeer off the road. You're more likely to see the car oversteer off the road. So you see the car sliding from the rear end. You've got to be very positive on the throttle and steer the car from the rear in order to get a good lap time around this racetrack. Coming into the chute here, very difficult braking zone. Very often you'll see drivers go off the road on the outside there. And the other thing about Summit Point Raceway is that there is not a lot of margin for error. It's not like a Formula 1 track where you have these nice large expansive curves, or even something like Tsukuba or somewhere like that, where you can use a lot of curves. Here the curves are very small, they're fairly old-fashioned, a bit rough, and the margins on the side of the roads right after the curves is just grass and gravel, so you've got to be very careful. You've got to use all of the road and not too much more. As you can see there, Fizzlejai uses the only real track limit that you can abuse around this track here, which is the final corner, the paddock turn. Meanwhile, we switch over to Jeswin Jali, who is also dicing around with Shopian up ahead. And looks like in 11th position, 124.9. We have quite a few guys in the 124.9s, 4 of them. So that's going to be an interesting... Oh! It looks like Shopian had a big sideways moment, had a bit of a tank slapper, and unfortunately Jesrin just got collected into that. We're just going to have a quick look again at what happened there, and we'll, as you can see there, just as I was saying just now, the car got sideways on the exit of the S's, got into a tank slapper, and unfortunately that collected Jesrin Jelly as well. It's going to be a little bit annoying for both parties as they try and get the cars up and running again.
Freddie Young goes off-road.
He's going for the rallycross technique through there, a little bit slower than normal, but he gets back up and running again. The real trouble sections, for me anyways...
Here's a surprise, Lloyd is doing P2.
Oh yeah, completely by surprise there. I think he just set that lap time.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's displaced Nigel Chua and gone into P2, Lloyd Lachlan. He is quite fast, a little bit temperamental sometimes in the braking zones, a very, very Nigel Mansell-esque sort of overtaking style, which is very entertaining to watch. And it looks like he's found his rhythm going around this track here. Summit Point, I believe, is one of the oldest tracks in iRacing, and it's got a lot of experience behind him, so Lloyd Lachlan will be doing quite well to try and gain those positions up again, but he's in another group of cars in the same time bracket, if you will, 124.4 with Nigel Chua and Jeswin Jali there. So you can see a lot of cars are sort of bunched up in the same tenth of a second from each other. Saiful Arifin, definitely one of the quickest guys out there. He's got a 124.1. There's really no one close to him. In second place, we have Lloyd Lachlan with a 124.4. Nigel also has a 124.4 or 124.468. And Jezrin Jali with a 24.478. So that's a hundredth of a second between Nigel Chua and Jezrin Jali. And further on down the field, we have Teguezan in 5th, followed by Freddie Ang, Fizul Jai, Adi Raimi, Ruben Wong, Faiz, Shamir, Adrian, Taufik Khalif, Sharil, Colin, Azril, Shopian, Michael's in the pits there, the 125.772. Calvin Ha has just joined the stream, and Shukran in 21st position.
Okay, so, for tonight we opened up we relaxed the registration. So we've got Aaron Lim. He's going to be joining for season 2, but we opened up the server for today for those who missed out on the earlier rounds. So there will be a couple of new names tonight if they'll be joining. Like Aaron Lim is going to be one of the team B of URT.
I believe, yes.
He's I think he's a A1 GP driver or another guy.
Yes, he's got a long history of international competition. You can almost say that he's one of the drivers who's up there with the likes of Alex Young and co. In fact, he was, I believe, a teammate to Alex Young in A1 GP. So it's great to have Aaron Lim on board. Great guy. He's into karting, and anybody who's into karting is in the good books, in my opinion. Alongside James Russell, I know a lot of guys in karting. It almost makes me want to go karting
think he's on
myself.
His sighting lap.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while to get used to the cars here at Summit Point, and obviously the rest of the field have had quite a lot of time to sort of learn the car. And it's interesting to see Aaron there. He's deliberately provoking the car a little bit, and this is something you see a lot of top line real-life race drivers do, is that they'll throw the car into the corner, see how it reacts, see how it slides sideways on the sighting lap. And this is the kind of thing that you can do during practice sessions, but you really don't want to try and do it in the race or in qualifying. So it's great to see him out there in free practice 1.
He's learning the dynamics of the car, I think, his limits.
Yeah. And obviously there is still a relatively large gap between sim racing and real-life racing, although it is a lot smaller than it used to be. I remember when I started out quite a while before, I think, before iRacing came out, and it was almost comical, the difference between sim racing and real-life racing. But now it is getting closer and closer, and it's getting to the point where it's almost crucial for a top-line racing driver to use simulators to try and gain as much of an advantage, especially with the limited track time that most racing drivers get nowadays. The average driver in an international championship will get anywhere between 2 to 4 days of pre-season testing, and that's it. And it's usually only at one track. So in order to be able to get into the car in free practice 1 on the first race and be immediately on the pace, in order to try and get as much data to the team as possible, you really do have to put the time into simulators. And the technology is there now that it is really good. It's really as good as, say, the McLaren simulator was back circa 2003 and 2004, to give you some idea of how accurate it is nowadays. Faiz Aslan there with the Padawan team. They've had a entertaining season so far. Glad to have them in the season, though. I must say, I think they might be a contender for coolest livery. They've got the Star Wars theme through the grid with the rivets and the cars. As far as that.
See, I told you, positivity turns to negativity.
I was only talking about the livery. The livery was so awesome. The Force took the car. See, right.
I think this is a turn 2 or no. This is
This is the chute,
Yeah.
which is at the top of the course. I will have to say the chute is a rather unique sort of proposition because it's a very fast corner coming into a braking zone, turning into a left-hander, turning into a very tight right-hander, and it's very, very easy to get yourself discombobulated and spin out there as you sort of find your hands crashing into each other and your inputs sort of running one directly after another. It's very easy to be a couple of steps behind the car if you're not careful. So we're going to see, I think, quite a lot of entertaining incidents up at the top of the track. Meanwhile, we'll watch Ruben Wong down here. I won't be mean to him. Much. But he's doing quite well up there in 10th position. He's obviously gaining experience lap after lap, and hopefully he'll be able to pull out a decent result for the URT team drivers. I must say that these guys, alongside the FCR Outer House team, have done quite well for themselves. They're learning to drive as a team. So you'll see them in qualifying it, following each other around. They're getting used to the driving style.
Yeah, we're entering the last minute of practice. So, okay, if you guys see there's not many drivers here tonight, because most of them, I think up to 6 or 7 guys are currently doing their Spa practice, official practice, which will be starting tomorrow morning 9 a.m. a 24-hour race at Spa-Francorchamps. How do you pronounce it?
Spa-Francorchamps.
So okay, we'll take a quick break. Matt, let's take a quick break before we start qualifying.
Alrighty there, we're going to take a quick break and we will see you guys right after these messages from our sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, to the free practice 1 session for round 5 of the Adrenaline Impact Malaysia Championship Season 1. It's been an absolutely fantastic season so far, and it's going to get even better, trust me. as we go around this fantastic racetrack. Freddie Ang right now, we're just looking at his times. He is currently in provisional pole position with a 128.916. That time, I believe, will go down quite dramatically indeed. A lot of these drivers will take more than one lap to warm the tires up and get themselves into the mood to try and push hard. Right now, Aaron Lim has a 131 on the board. He is going to improve, I am sure. See,
I think they are currently all on their warm up or out lap. So who should we see first?
I think probably we'll join Lloyd Lachlan if he's around. We'll try and talk you guys through a lap as we see him going into the second corner there.
Yeah, Freddie just got a 124.
So Freddie's got a 124. We're going to see a lot of 124s if the practice session was to be believed, because it was absolutely crazy. So now going through the carousel bend and into the S's. Someone actually pointed to me the last time we did the event here at Summit Point Raceway that I managed to get the corner names right, and that is absolutely by accident. I didn't realize that really was called the carousel and the S's. That was just the name of the shapes. So anyways, coming out of paddock bend, we'll see him pull off a 126.970, so he'll want to try and get a 125.085. He's still going to have to try and improve the position further.
Over to Nigel.
So now we see Nigel Chua. He was very, very quick indeed. He was holding second position in the practice session earlier on today. So we'll see what he manages to pull off. He goes 124.647. So judging by the practice times, that should be good for top 5. We're starting to see the really quick guys coming in. Freddie Young is still in provisional pole position with 124.626. We're halfway through the qualifying session now, so there's really only a chance for 1 or 2 laps to go through here. Nigel Chua is in third. Eddie Adrian is in second position with a 124.636, so he's doing very well indeed. But Freddie Young is currently in top spot.
So let's see what's going on with Michael.
So Michael Hafiz, he actually did very well indeed in the previous round. He was in the top 20. I believe he was in 16th position. And yeah, he's definitely going to show that if you work hard at trying to be better at sim racing, you can reap the rewards later on. He is, I believe, on a timed lap.
Yeah.
Although he may have just started his time lap. He might take another lap just to try and warm up, but as you can see there, nice and smooth, just trying to make sure the car is running perfectly.
Oh, he lost it.
Ooh, he got a really bit sideways there, so he's going to have to try and do another warm-up session again.
Okay, let's go to Jai.
Afizul Jai there in 6th position. He's now coming into the paddock corner. Into the chute. The corners almost look identical, but trust me, they're not. You have to drive them very, very differently. Now going into the carousel section and coming out onto the S's. You can see he's going through the gears before he can even get up to the straight line to try and get the car in the ideal power band. Doing 140 kilometers an hour coming out of the S's. He'll be accelerating as hard as he can. That foot is flat to the floor coming into the paddock bend. Just a light lift. 132 kilometers an hour coming out of paddock bend, and we'll see him coming across the line very shortly indeed. And he should go quicker.
Sorry, I didn't turn on the lap times. Okay, I just turned it on. So the lap time should slide out from the names.
He didn't improve his lap time.
So he didn't improve any time, I think.
I was staring at the 125.03 or expecting it to change, but
Sure.
actually he's going to go for another run as he goes through the woodland corner.
Let's go over to Izan.
Tuku Izan there coming into the chute section. Mr. 10 himself. He's in 19th, but that is going to change very soon. You can see he's definitely pushing the car quite hard. We've only got 2 minutes left, so a lot of the guys will be starting the final laps coming into the race here. Nice and neat. You don't want to use all of the track going through the carousel section, but through the S's you definitely have to push the car hard. You can see he's rotating the car from the rear, and he's definitely pushing the car quite hard indeed. He manages to get past Michael there, pitches the car into the corner there. You can see the car's almost loose in how it's driving, and we'll see if he can improve on his current lap time. He does, but not by a lot. He's in 16th position with 125.908. He will be going for another lap, I am sure, to try and get that lap time into place. Meanwhile, Nigel Chua has gone into pole position with a 124.285. So Nigel Chua is in provisional pole position. Shami Azri is 124.5, and Freddie Ang with a 124.6. We'll see how well Colin Chia does going into the chute, then on to the carousel section. Then there's not a lot of runoff, there's not a lot of margin for error here, so you have to be really brave coming into there and trust that the car will work. Going through that corner now into the S's, accuracy is key because this is very critical to the end of the lap to try and get a good lap time. You've got to be going pretty fast coming out of here. He exits at around 140 kilometers an hour, just a hair faster than official Jai. So will he be quicker than him through this final corner? Paddock Ben, lots of curb on the inside. He's using as much of the curb on the outside as he dares, running up to the line. He's down in the second sector. Will he be able to improve? No, he does not. 125.963. We only have 5 seconds left in qualifying session. It looks like Nigel Chua might have it, and there's the checker flag for the qualifying session. We're going to watch a few of the cars across the finish line there. We're on board with Mohammed Khalif in 16th position there. He's on a 125.891. He just has to avoid that URT car there. Didn't quite catch who that was, but that's going to affect his concentration coming into the final corner. Let's see if he can improve on his lap time. Coming up to the line, and it looks like he hasn't. 125.942. So Mohammed Khalif down in 16th position. We'll see a few of the other drivers coming across the line. Number 23.
What was that?
Some cool down shenanigans there, as I think that might have been Nigel that gets hit. But it I believe that was it for qualifying.
We're waiting for the grid info.
I believe there are 2 or 3 cars left finishing the race. In the meanwhile, we see the URT car stop. And I believe Nigel Chua has got pole position, which is going to be great news for him coming into this practice race. 30 minutes long as we get ready to go. Nigel Chua there in first position, Chami Aizan in second, Freddie Young in third, Eddie Adrian in fourth position. A fantastic result for him. Tuku Ezan is all the way up there in fifth position. So the top 3 rows are going to be quite spectacular indeed. I do believe our grid has gone for a walk.
Usually there's a 1 to 2 minutes gap, so
Yeah.
that's a good time for the drivers to take a quick. Yeah, here you go. Here's the.
There we go. So onto the grid, we have Nigel Chua in pole position, Samir Aizan, number 404 with Rab Pro Drag Esport in second position, just behind the Steed Tavern driver of Nigel Chua. Freddie Ang is third for the Uncle Racing team, followed by Eddie Adrian for the Pad1 SRC team in fourth. Tunku Ezan Lay, another Uncle Racing team driver, in fifth position, followed by Ruben Wong in sixth. They've done very well in this qualifying session. Lloyd Lachlan, the privateer, in seventh position, followed by Jasmine Jolly, the first of the Autohouse FCR cars. Official Jai with the Android King SSAD cars in ninth position, followed by Taufik Tahir, Sharon Norafuddin, and Azril Nazli in 12th place.
Yeah, about to start, so let's just move on to
The
race.
grid. We're waiting for Nigel. Yeah, we've got a few more drivers waiting. Shaiful is not yet there. Adi Raimi is still to load in. Lloyd Lachlan. We're waiting for a couple of other drivers as well as we're waiting on the line. The nerves are getting shakier and sharper. The guys are getting ready to go. The lights are up. The 5 red lights go on. And it's go, go, go for Nigel. But Shamit Aizan has a fantastic start. It looks like Nigel Chua has a really bad start coming off the line. Eddie Adrian comes into second position. The URT cars are now the next target for Nigel Chua. He's got to really drive defensively coming into the first corner. And it looks like Shamit Aizan has managed to catch Eddie Adrian napping through there. Nigel Chua manages to get back into second position. That is a terrible start from him. He's had too much wheel spin. Now coming into the Woodland corner. We see the cars further back in the field negotiate the second corner. Just a fairly clean start for most of the grid. But Shamit Aizan leads the race from Nigel Chua, Eddie Adrian, and Tuku Izan in fourth position. Freddie Ang and Lloyd Lachlan is battling for position. That is going to be a fantastic tussle through there, but it looks like Eddie Adrian is still fighting with Nigel Chua for second position, and that gives Shamit Aizan the chance to run away with the lead. This is a fantastic start for him. He's managed to steal first place off the line. And now with Nigel Chua and Eddie Adrian battling, you can see the difference there. When you're battling, you do lose out onto the car in front of you. And as you can see behind, the URT cars are causing a bit of a high-speed traffic jam behind them. With Lloyd Lachlan, another fantastic first lap from him. He's in fourth position and now closing in on Eddie Adrian. So Eddie's trying to go and overtake the car in front. Meanwhile, Tunku Ezan has his own ideas coming in for the overtaking maneuver. Will he get it? Yes, he manages to get past, but he loses position through the switchback. Lloyd Lachlan managing to pull off a classic switchback maneuver to try and gain that position again. Meanwhile, Tunku Ezan is right on the bumper, literally touching Lloyd Lachlan there. Side by side through the corner there. There's the slightest contact. Rubbing is racing after all. Manages to get through turn 2 there.
This is a nice view. He's got his 3 uncles.
Yeah, he's got all of his teammates right behind him, and it looks like Ezan has spun. Tunku Ezan has spun. I'm not too sure what happened there, but Tunku Ezan was battling with Lloyd Lachlan. Looks like Freddie Ang and Ruben Wong are going to head up ahead. Jasmine Jelly and Official Jai managed to get past as well.
Oh, he lost it by himself.
Yeah, it looked like Tunku Ezan backed off in the middle of the corner to try and avoid Lloyd Lachlan, who got it just a little bit sideways, and unfortunately he fell for the oldest trick in the book, lift off oversteer. And unfortunately, bad luck befalls Tunku Ezan once again. You sort of have to feel a little bit sorry for him at this point, because I think of all the drivers in the series, he perhaps has the worst run of bad luck in these FP1 races. But he does seem to make up for it this Sunday. He'll try and make up for it again in the main races, the ones that count in the championship. So for those of you who are going to be watching, we'll go live around about 9:30. The qualifying of the race will start at 10 this Sunday, so do watch out for that. We have a comment down below, clean start. I will have to admit that is quite remarkable, especially around Summit Point where it can get really narrow. During the start of the race, everybody has gone through safe and sound. I didn't see any red ticks on my timing screen, which indicates that I don't think anybody had any sort of incident up until Tunku Ezan spun out and he managed to recover. Looks like Jason Jelly has dispatched of one Uncle Racing Team car. The next URT car up ahead is Ruben Wong, who's in 6th position. Lloyd Loughlin's dropped down to 5th. Freddie Ang has managed to get past him. And Lloyd very, very wild coming out of the paddock bend, going down into the first corner. And it looks like Jezrin Jali might have a bit of a run up to Ruben Wong. It's a very long straight for such a short track here. So you really can use slipstreaming to full effect coming down into first corner. There's a fantastic hairpin that opens up and opens up before just tightening up a little bit again, coming into the second bend. Lloyd Loughlin there in 5th position. He was as high as 3rd, I believe, through the first opening laps. He's had a fantastic start to the race, but now he is battling with the URT cars. You can see Tukwezan there, not too far behind. He can join up with his compatriots further up the field and try to get back into that fight. But meanwhile, the top 3 are beginning to pull away. Shame Aizan has managed to steal the lead from Nigel Chua with Eddie Adrian in 3rd position. They're absolutely driving the race of their lives right now up ahead. But it looks like Nigel is dropping further behind from Shame. And Eddie Adrian is in 3rd there. They're both 7/10ths behind, so not quite in comfortable positions. They're still within earshot of each other, and they're going to have to be really careful to try and make sure that they don't make any mistakes. But you can see Nigel Chua is close enough to try and get a run up into turn 1, but I don't think he's going to make that overtaking maneuver work. In the meantime, further back we have Freddie Ang and Lloyd Loughlin swapping positions, and there's been an incident. There's been an incident in the first corner there, and it looks like Jezrin Jali has come off worse in that particular incident. He's dropped back behind Tunku Ezan. Ruben Wong has also dropped down a little bit. Afizu Jai is the big winner in that. He's popped up in the 5th position. As we watch that again, and it looks like the FCR car of Jezrin Jali just lost it under braking. And that enabled the position changes that we saw throughout the field there. But now Jezrin Jali is really far down the order. Ruben Wong is still in 6th position, trying to chase Vizajai. Lloyd Loughlin is down in 7th. He is really lost out from that. It looks like a very small accident, but that has caused a chain reaction, and a lot of overtaking movers got done coming into that first corner in lap 4. We're only 7 minutes into the race, and it's really turning into an intriguing battle. The top 3 are still within striking distance of each other. Freddie and Jai are in 4th and 5th position. They're in relatively comfortable positions, but Ruben Wong is still within striking range of Lloyd Loughlin. So they're going to have to really watch out coming into the first corner here. To see Azrael Nazli is witnessing another overtaking maneuver up ahead, and will Faizan be able to get past Khalif coming into there? And ooh, Faiz got the car so far to the right, it looks like he just dipped into the dirt a little bit. The car snapped sideways. It's amazing car control, but he managed to hold that in position. But Azrael Nazli now has caught right up to Faiz, and Faiz now in real danger of being overtaken by Azrael Nazli if he's not careful. And you can see he's really driving that car at the limit, if not beyond it. Azrael Nazli is not holding back either. This battle from 11th to 14th position, as you can see there on the timing screens, full of orange sectors, orange intervals rather. That just shows that they're within a second of each other, and therefore are in danger of being caught. Azrael Nazli likes to take that wider line through the S's, really throws the car around, gets the car rotated on throttle, Very nice driving style to watch indeed. Michael Hafiz, he's continuing his good run. He's in 10th position, which is quite good for him. Really on the pace now. As we remember, he was basically one of the back markers at the start of the series, but he's been improving. He's been improving his sim rig. He's now on a direct drive system. He's also been improving his driving by leaps and bounds, and now he's in 10th position for Todak Motorsports. They've had a real upturn in fortune as of late. Michael Hafiz really doing quite well. I believe for the last round they also had a new teammate in Akid Basarom, who's another MSF base, this time a superbike rider. So Michael Hafiz there has quite an interesting thing, and there's been an incident coming out of the second corner there. It looks like a few cars have gone off behind this battle. Charmizi Yusuf is right behind Michael Hafiz. There's another driver who's improved quite a lot over the course of the season, and it looks like Michael might have to be a little bit careful. Meantime, we'll watch the replay. Muhammad Khalif just got the car a little bit sideways, tried to correct it, and he was off the road there. Azrul Nazli almost followed him and did very well to try and keep the car in a straight line and off the barriers there, but Khalif unfortunately didn't manage to do so, and he's off the road there. But meanwhile, Sami Aizan and Eddie Adrian has clove right up to Nigel Chua, who, as you remember, has dropped from first to second position off the grid, but now he's got first position back again. So we missed that overtaking maneuver for the lead. That was absolutely amazing stuff. Now they're in a dogfighting position. We're a third of the way through the race. See there with
Shami lost control there, and he lost his position.
And yeah, so almost an identical incident to the previous one. So Shami Aizan again got caught out by that really tricky that tricky left-hander. I'll put my teeth in a minute. And so that means Shami Aizan is in second position, but Nigel Chua, even though he's got back the lead that he had from the grid, he's definitely not in a safe position. As you can see, that's first, second and third position very close to each other. Eddie Adrian very, very close to Shami Aizan. If Shami is not careful, Eddie might be able to do something in the slipstream coming down through the final corner onto the main straight and into the first bend. It looks like they're just a little bit too far away to do anything now, but the gaps will, I think, close down coming into the braking zone here. And as you can see, there is not a lot of difference between first, second and third position, with Shami Aizan really catching up. Meanwhile, Faiz Aslan is battling with Azrul Nazli still. Michael is right up ahead as well, so this is looking to be the midfield battle to watch out for. Azrul and Faiz. It looks like Azrul has
missed
gear.
He's misshifted his gearbox.
That's very unfortunate. Faiz Aslan had it does happen, even to the best of us, but he's shifted, so he's missed third gear there, and that robbed him of a lot of straight line performance, and Azrul Nazli is able to get past. That's the thing, Azrul Nazli also likes to put people under pressure, and another man who likes to put people under pressure is Jazrin Jali, who's right behind Tukwezan, only half a second ahead. And this is going to be fairly dangerous for Tukwezan, because if this gap continues through the final corner, through the paddock bend here, then for sure Jazrin Jali is going to be in striking distance, and it looks like Tukwezan has gone really wide coming out of the final corner, and Jazrin Jali is going to go side by side with Tukwezan coming down into the first bend. Will Jazrin Jali be able to overtake coming into the braking zone there? They're still side by side onto the brakes, and it looks like Tukwezan has managed to outbrake Jazrin, but oh, there's been an impact. Tukwezan tried to carry the momentum around the outside, but the car went sideways, and there has been a rather large incident, and Tukwezan once again is unfortunately lost positions there.
That's quite unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
whoa.
Meanwhile, Tarmisi Yusuf has gone sideways as well. These cars are proving to be very, very difficult to drive around this track. Whew. You must feel for Tukueza, and he's gone from having the Sportsman Award and really driving a very good race in the previous round to, well, thank goodness this is the FP1 session. I'm sure he'll come back stronger for this Sunday. But I suppose it's good to get your incidents and accidents out the way during FP1. Faiz Aslan there, another man who's in 11th position, Azrul Nazli in 10th. Michael looks like he's dropped a couple of positions. Not too sure what happened there, but it looks like Faiz will try and get back up to speed. Lloyd Lachlan, he's been up and down. He's had a real rollercoaster of a race. He's now fighting for 6th position with Ruben Wong. Lloyd Lachlan is on the inside, Ruben Wong on the outside. And it looks like Ruben manages to avoid Tinkuezan's incident there, but Lloyd Lachlan also driving very defensively through here, as is his right as the car in front. He is allowed to defend and make one defensive maneuver into each corner, and he's managed to do so quite well, but it looks like Ruben Wong is really close to Lloyd, coming through the chute there. Again, very difficult braking position. Lloyd decides to defend. Ruben tries to go around the outside, but loses quite a bit of speed there. But it's still not over yet, going through the carousel. Looks like Ruben manages to take a tighter line than Lloyd going up through there. Lloyd decides to take a later apex, however. Really very different driving style, but very close together. Meanwhile, Eddie Adrian is now really battling hard with Shami Aizan. And it looks like if Shami Aizan isn't careful, he might lose another position coming into the first corner here. Shami goes defensive. Eddie Adrian follows him to try and get the toe. He goes around the outside. Will he be able to make the move around the outside stick? Braking as hard as he can. He decides to not try and overtake around the outside there. And a wise move there, because Shami bounces rather clumsily across the curb there. Now coming to the woodland corner, and it looks like Eddie Adrian definitely has the pace to go past Shami Aizan. Shami really trying hard to keep the car ahead of Adrian, trying hard to keep his cool coming into the chute. Again, another place where he can try and make a move stick. Eddie thinks about it, but doesn't pull it off going into the carousel section here. He's got to be very careful. And now the critical point is the S's, and they are catching the car ahead. That is Nigel Chua further up the road there. And this is one of the few times where you see a battle actually speeding up the two cars as opposed to slowing down. It looks like Nigel Chua is up ahead there, losing a bit of time. Michael Hafiz now in a battle with Colin Chua. Up ahead, there are 0.4 of a second between the two of them. Michael getting the car a little bit squirrely and sideways, but that hasn't seemed to affect him. It doesn't seem to affect him. A little bit more accurate than Colin, going through the S's, but Colin really throwing the car quite hard there. But Colin goes really wide. That's going to really slow him down coming up into the paddock bend. Colin's going to be very careful coming out of here to try and keep enough speed to keep Michael Hafiz at bay. But Michael is definitely in slipstream zone as he comes into turn 1. Will Michael try and go for the overtaking maneuver? He's going to wait as long as possible before he comes into the braking zone to pull out. Will he do it? No, he decides to wait another lap to try, or another opportunity to try and overtake Colin. But this is absolutely fantastic racing there. Colin goes wide, Michael goes in, coming into that second corner, that left-hander around the tree. And it looks like Colin is really driving that car very hard indeed, getting the car a little bit upset through there, and that's given Michael Hafiz a opportunity. He's now right on the back of Colin's car. Can Michael do anything through here? He's putting Colin through a lot of pressure, and Colin's made that mistake, and that's all Michael has to do in order to get that position. Michael put Colin under a lot of pressure there, and he forced the speed tavern driver into a mistake coming into the entry into the carousel section. and Michael Hafiz manages to get that position and goes up into 12th place. Absolutely fantastic racing up and down the leaderboard here. Afizul Jai now in 5th position. He is catching Freddie Ang, and it looks like Freddie has gone a little bit deep on brakes, so Afizul Jai is going to gain just a couple more critical tenths of a second going through the first bend, now through the woodland corner, and it looks like Afizul is able to take that earlier apex. Freddie is making the later apex work as well, however, and it looks like they're quite evenly matched, around 6/10 of a second in this battle for 4th position. But it looks like Freddie really has to slow the car down quite a bit going into the chute, and Afizul Jai really can carry the speed going into the carousel section there, and that has closed up the gap massively. He's halved the gap in one corner just through executing the racing line just a little bit better than Freddie. So Freddie's got to really be wary of what's behind him. Afizul Jai coming into the final corner there. Both drivers have to try and get the final corner perfect, otherwise there's going to be serious repercussions for both of them. Coming out into the final corner, and there's another car in the middle. Oh!
Shukran.
So Shukran, luckily those two cars managed to avoid a relatively big accident, but that's a frightening situation. Shukran was in the middle of the road, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't really get out the way, and unfortunately those cars went over the brow and came across him absolutely unsighted. Unfortunately that sort of robbed us of what looked like Afizul Jai almost it looked to be almost a dead cert for a position change. It looked like Jai was going to snatch 4th position from Freddie, but as they say, anything can happen in racing, and it usually does. And I must say, a car in the middle of the road parked pointing the wrong way is perhaps not what you had in mind when you're going for that overtaking maneuver, but you have to be prepared for everything. And luckily both of those guys are still in the race. Shamir Aizan is still battling with Nigel Chua, and it looks like he managed to get back past Nigel Chua. Shamir has the pace advantage, it looks like, but Nigel Chua is a little bit quicker through the top section of the track. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this race fans out. 21 minutes have passed, about 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the race. This is really going to be a sprint to the line. So as you can see, there's going to be perhaps about another 3 or 4 more laps, sorry, 4 or 5 more laps to go. And Nigel Chua, he just went a little bit too deep, and he's outbraked himself, and he's got the car into a spin. That is bad news for Nigel Chua. He manages to rejoin the track in 3rd position, but that means that Nigel Chua has lost his opportunity to try and go for the win of the race. Meanwhile, Eddie Adrian is the big winner through that. He inherits 2nd position from Nigel Chua, and that unfortunately was a really tough error for Nigel Chua to swallow, I'm sure. But unfortunately he's now got to have to try and push hard and catch these two guys up all over again. Meanwhile, Ruben Wong is trying to go for an overtaking maneuver on Jezrin Jali. These guys have been fighting all throughout the race, and there's nothing in between them, only a couple of car lengths between Ruben Wong and Jezrin Jali, and it looks like Ruben's car is hooking up to the track just a little bit better than Jezrin's car. Now you've got to get this section again perfect, otherwise you won't be able to make that overtaking maneuver stick. We have seen in the past, when they're much closer than these two guys are, an overtaking maneuver before the paddock section, but you really have to be committed, man. You sort of have to make sure the other guy is working with you on that sort of overtaking maneuver, but these guys are going to be close enough, I'm sure, to have slipstream effect take advantage. Afizul Jai now back on to the tail of Freddie Young. He almost had the overtaking maneuver worked out. Unfortunately, a back marker was right behind, just right over the crest there, and that caused them to split up again. But it looks like Afizul Jai has resumed the battle. Faiz Aslan, meanwhile, he is trying to go for an overtaking maneuver on Azra Nazli. Ezan is right up ahead there. The battle for 9th, 10th and 11th. All these guys want to have a nice top 10 finish to the race. and it looks like Faiz Aslan is a little bit further behind, but Azra Nazri and Tukwezan are really battling it out. They are dodging and diving. Azra Nazri is trying to fill out Tukwezan's mirrors as much as possible. Mohammad Shukran, meanwhile, looks like he's having some technical issues with the car. It's not going as fast as he can normally pedal that thing around. Meanwhile, Michael Hafiz is out looking for his next victim, and that is Aaron Lim up ahead there, who is in 20th position. Ooh. You hate to see the back marker get involved that way, but unfortunately Michael had nowhere else to go in that situation. It's unfortunate for Aaron as well, because it's a common problem in sim racing when you can't see what's next to you, so you really have to work on your battle box and your spotter, and get used to those two elements when you're running single screen in these sim races. But I'm sure Aaron is getting the hang of sim racing just fine. But Michael will be a little bit annoyed at that. He's still 11 seconds behind the battle between Azrael and Fariz, and meanwhile Sharil Norafuddin is going quite quickly indeed. That is Shopian up ahead, and despite the car not quite having as many body parts as he would like, it looks like Sharil Norafuddin has managed to get that car into 16th position. Azra Nazli there battling with Tukwezan, and it looks like Tukwezan had to back off quite a bit there. Faiz is also involved. Faiz, Ezan and Azrael, they're very close together, as you can see. And now Tukwezan has to drive really defensively to try and make sure Azra Nazli doesn't get any sort of speed through the S's. Now coming to that penultimate straight there into the final corner, the paddock curve. Now again, both drivers have to get this perfect if either driver wants a chance of trying to keep their position. It looks like Azrael went a little bit wide onto the gravel there, so he might not be able to catch up to the back of Tukwezan quite as well again. Meanwhile, Afizul Jai and Freddie Ang, they still haven't quite settled the battle quite yet, but they're pushing as hard as they can. Afizul Jai, aka Jai Bluebird, chasing Freddie Ang, both are drivers from Real World of Motorsports, and both are really very quick sim racers as well, really translating their skills that they've learned through racing at Sepang, especially in Jai's case, with all the drifting, with all these cars going sideways. It's definitely an interesting battle to watch as these cars are sparring. But again, we have to make sure, these two guys have to make sure that the back half of the lap gets pulled off perfectly. Again, coming out of the S's, it's absolutely critical to carry as much speed out of there and try and maintain speed through the final corner here. Tukwezan jumps on the brakes there, he misses the apex, but Afizul Jai also misses the apex. This might be it. They're close enough that Afizul Jai can get the slipstream effect. Tukwezan knows this, so he goes into the inside to try and block off any maneuver, try and break the toe. Afizul Jai comes out to the outside, they go side by side. Can Afizul make it go work around the outside of the corner? Tukwezan, yes, he manages to pull off the switchback. He's forced to go. So Freddie Young has managed to.
He lost his control there. Okay, and we move on to next is Eddie Adrian up there.
Yep. So I was just going to say that what happened with Jai and Freddie, and Afizul Jai managed to force Freddie into a position where he simply couldn't recover coming out of the corner there. Meanwhile, Eddie Adrian is still fighting hard with Nigel Chua, who's managed to claw back into second position. Nigel Chua seems determined to go as high as possible, but there's only a minute and 40 seconds left in the race. He won't be able to catch Shamir up ahead on the road. Adrian in third place, he can just about see Nigel, but it remains to be seen whether he's got enough pace in that car. And it looks like we might go to lap 22 or lap 23 for the end of the race. This will be a 23 lap race for 30 minutes. That will make the Sunday's race potentially a 30 lap race if the speed of this one holds any sort of value. Azwar Nazli there, he's managed a fantastic race to get himself up into 10th position. Tuku Ezan there really pushing hard to try and get away from Azwar Nazli. Now coming up into the second corner, and looks like Azwar is gaining up, but it also looks like Tuku Ezan's car is really losing grip on the rear end as well. He may have pushed the rear tyres a little bit too hard. But as we go into the final 20 seconds of the race, we'll see if Shamir is anywhere close to the finish line. It looks like he is. Now will he try and back off to make sure that he will win the race on this final lap? It looks like he's got 5 seconds left.
Yeah, I think this is the final.
Left. He's backed right off to make sure that he wins the race.
No, we have one more lap.
So he's mistimed that Sham Aizan will have to go around for another lap.
If he goes in maybe 2 seconds or 1 second later than just now, I think this will count as a finish, right?
Yes, I think what Sham Aizan was trying to do there is to back off, because he did look like he was going a little bit slower coming into that final lap, to try and slow down. Obviously we've seen some pretty extreme stuff from the likes of Saifur Rifin, where they virtually stopped the car before the finish line just to make sure that they don't have to do another lap. So Nigel Chua there, he's still 4 seconds behind. He's not going to be a threat. Shamir Haizam will definitely just have to keep his concentration up all the way to the end of the race. Meanwhile, Freddie Ang and Afizul Jai are still battling. They were battling so hard I forgot which uncle was chasing which Android King. Even commentators have to practice. And it looks like Freddie Young has managed to get a bit of a second wind, and Lloyd Lachlan there in 6th position. He's just about that, and Freddie's gone sideways, very sideways indeed. And that means Lloyd Lachlan is right behind him. Will be able to take the position? It looks like yes, on the final lap, in the final corner, Lloyd Lachlan manages to get to 6th position, and will Jaswin Jolly get that other position? He's on the grass. Jaswin Jolly is going for the double overtake on the grass, and it looks like Freddie Young manages to just hold on.
That was...
Lloyd Lachlan was 1/1000th of a second, and Jaswin Jolly was a further 3/10 of a second behind on the grass. That was a fantastic finish to the race there. Freddie Young definitely earns his ice cream this this evening. Lloyd Lachlan just 1/1000th of a second. But I have to say, Jaswin Jolly, perhaps with one of the most audacious attempts at overtaking I've ever seen.
I'm glad we were pointing the camera at them.
Yeah, I was looking like Vizul Jai was had lost it, but that was absolutely insane finish, and that was 4th, 5th, and 6th position. Oh, sorry, 5th, 6th, and 7th, as it eventually turned out. As we see Muhammad Khalif go through the bend. Calvin Ha, we had a rather humorous chat on the group session there, where he said that he needed to get his Ribena fix. Of course, as many of you guys know out there, I do get through quite a lot of drinks, and usually my drink of choice is Ribena.
Yeah, that Jaswin Jolly, yeah. And the better, I think I want to rewind that and see. That was a good one.
We have to see that last. That
was
final.
Between Lachlan, right?
It was between Lachlan, Jai, and Jaswin, but you really want to ride with Jaswin Jolly going to that final lap.
Wait, I'm trying to find out where we are. Okay, here we go. Okay, here it is. Was this the last lap? Yeah, I think it was. Oh,
Yeah, I
no.
believe this is the last lap, and there was some incidents up ahead which slowed down a fizzle jai and brought everyone into. Oops.
Yeah, that was it. Let me
Yep.
rewind a bit. Photo finish.
But let's just have a look at Jezrin Jali. He almost made that work. If he kept the car a little bit straighter, he would have kept the speed going and made that overtaking maneuver work on the grass.
Sorry. Okay, let's do this. Whoa.
Meanwhile, we have Freddie Young just beating
That was
Lloyd
one
Loughlin.
thousandth of a second, right?
1/1000th of a second. As you can see there, if you take the first line on the track as the finish line, Lloyd Loughlin would have got it, but it's the second line, right where that hut is. That is where the finish line is, and as you can see, just as we cross the line, that 1/1000th of a second at that speed equates to about 20 millimeters. So that's how close it is.
Let me get a good view, better view from this other side.
That is amazing. That is definitely a photo finish moment. You'd have to get pretty close in order to get that sort of. And what's better is that Lloyd Loughlin's nose is white, so you really can't tell. Michael,
Yo.
Macam
How
kau
are
tengok
you?
ni finish dia 1000 second tu.
Oh, gila. So, siapa
point
menang?
001
So, Lloyd ke siapa tu? Lloyd dengan siapa tu?
dengan Freddie Ang. Ini untuk posisi ke-5.
Oh, okay.
Tapi yang lagi best, jom kita rewind balik, kita tengok daripada final corner.
Diorang fight
Lloyd Loughlin, front race Freddie. That was absolutely amazing, Lloyd Loughlin.
Yeah. You are so amazing.
So watch that one more time. I want to know, I mean, Jezrin Jali sikit lagi tadi. Just watch this. Azrael Leslie is with us right now. Whoa! Side by side with the car on the grass. That is a finish to the race. Azrael Leslie. Yes. Hello.
Jom kita tengok result.
So kita tengok results sekejap. Syamil Aizan, first position, followed by Nigel Chua in second for Speed Tavern. Eddie Adrian was third for Padawan SRC. So Syamil Aizan there for Rab Pro Drag. P5 battle is crazy. Yes, Shukran, you really got to clip that because that is probably one for the highlight reel. So yeah, Syamil Aizan from Nigel Chua and Eddie Adrian. Afizul Jai was in fourth position for Android King SSAD, and then Freddie Ang managed to get past as URT from Lloyd Loughlin, who was 1/1000th of a second behind in sixth position. Ruben Wong is in seventh, followed by Azrael Nasli, Faiz Azlan, Colin Shah, Michael Hafiz in 10th position. Tamizi Yusuf, Jazrin Jali, Sophia Said, Teguh Izan Lay, Sharon Orfudin, Taufik Tahir, and Muhammad Khalif in 18th position. Woo!
Okay.
19.
That's Saiful Arifin went out to send his wife to the bus station.
So that explains why he wasn't in the race. But that was very, very entertaining indeed. So Azriel, bagaimana dengan race kamu pada malam ni?
I think the race is very interesting. Kejar Pakcik Izan Lee sampai ke akhir lap, barulah dia mengalah, kita babas. Okay. I think I did some mistake on the lap 1. I clip somebody from
Syaril, you clip Syaril Nofuddin.
I dah cuba break, I don't know break tak makan, jalan masuk line, sikit je. Okay, a question, weaving is allowed or not weaving?
It shouldn't be. I think you're only allowed to make one maneuver, although I'm just a commentator.
Because incident between Jai and Kenneth, I think siapa? Lap 17 lah.
Lap 17?
Kita bincang lap 17.
Jai and Freddy lah kalau dekat-dekat pun.
Freddy
Jai,
Ang, Freddy Ang. So is mendakwa Freddy buat BV. Kita pun nak pastikan jugalah.
Bang, mic kau dekat sikit bang, tak dengar.
Sekarang dengar tak sekarang?
Okey, dengar.
Okey.
Okay, Jai kata ada weaving action from Freddy Ang masa laps. Oh, that's me.
Sorry.
Angkat tangan. Jangan lupa message je.
So it's obviously my mistake. I admit lah. Okay, potong 2 point.
Tak apa ni FP1 je.
Weaving should be I think it's just one course change sahaja kan, bukan mengikut orang belakang pilih tak pusing mana kan.
Yeah, from my understanding dia boleh gerak sekali saja.
Ya. Betul. So Jai complain lap 17 people orang depan dia weaving lah, itu je lah. Lap 17 from Jai T1 itulah.
Michael dekat lap yang ke 20 lebih rasanya.
Cil, suara tak dengar Cil. Sorry.
Okey. Macam tadi dekat lap yang ke rasa 20 lebih. Waktu tu Aaron Lim rasanya dekat depan Michael, dia kena blue flag tapi dia tak
Malah.
Tadi nampak masa tu kita orang tengah live nampak dia kata sondol dia ke apa tadi sebab dia macam blocking kau. Dia
block
lane kan.
dah berapa lap dengan turn dia block, so orang belakang makin dekat, so dia tak ada pilihan lain, dia terpaksa cari juga tempat mana boleh potong, so touching.
Okay, Aaron Lim dia hari ni dia saja join untuk practice. Dia tak ada join untuk championship lagi. Dia akan masuk season 2. So dia background dia apa yang Matt cakap is yalah A1 GP driver kan Matt. Maksudnya lah tak silap kan.
Yes. I don't know if although I hope he's in the chat to correct me, but I believe he was one of the drivers chosen to be the A1GP Team Malaysia representative at one point, along with Faris Fauzi and of course Alex Young. And he's got a long experience in circuit racing, but I think kalau dalam sim ni dia mungkin baru start kot. At least
at the phase.
So tak apalah, itu memang dia punya the point of FP1 is to practice kan. So
Dah cuba tengok.
kita buat kesilapan. Kita buat kesilapan kat hari Jumaat. Hari Ahad kita cuba elakkan.
So lap ke berapa tadi rasanya ya? Depan lagi kot. Lepas tu ni Syukran kat belakang, Faiz kat depan. Dalam lap kita sebelum ni lang, sebelum waktu tu aku masih lagi position 10 rasanya.
Yang ni position dia dah fix ni. Sekejap aku offkan ni lah. Takut kau confuse. Sekejap. Tapi dalam kau stay belakang dia lama?
Lama.
More than 3 laps lah.
Ni.
Okay, betul.
Lepas tu dia tukar lane depan kau kan?
Dia blocking
Yang ni tak blocking lah. So ni memang line dia lah. So dia pun tengah fight dengan Syukran, nak potong Syukran. So kita faham lah. So dia nak Syukran, tapi orang belakang pun dah makin dekat kan.
Gigil.
Maknanya team manager dia kena ajar lah macam mana iRacing punya blue flag semua tu. Uncle-nya geng lah.
Oh ni URT punya tanggungjawab lah
That's why kalau orang nak join mid season macam ni, kita only advise yang under team je boleh masuk supaya ada guideline daripada teammates lah.
Ataupun team manager lah.
Manager
jadi,
ataupun yang
kita sampaikan komplain pun kepada team manager lah kan.
Okay, this one je kan.
Krik.
Tapi kau dah top 10 tadi Cel Apa jadi Cel? Kita rewind sikit.
Dah top 10. Lepas tu terpusing. Lepas tu terlajak, turun.
Itulah dia sebab naikkan suhu kan. After 50 minit semua dah macam cacing Haris.
Okay, ni starting Cil tadi.
Awesome ya.
Tapi memang first lap memang cantik lah. Clean lah.
So ni macam punya starting, macam dulu main drag, okey. Kau tengok rumah.
Nampak sangat. 5 biji kereta, 6 biji kereta.
Ada juga terbabas.
Insiden.
Oh, siapa tadi tu?
Klik URT tu.
Aaron.
Aaron.
Okey.
Okay.
Tapi
Malaysia
kalau-
daripada 15 naik ke 10
Not bad.
Tak, 20 kali tak. Tadi chill start 20 lebih lah.
20 lebih, lepas tu naik sampai 10
Kat belakang
kan.
tu.
Sengaja tidak nak qualify, nak enjoy potong satu-satu ni.
Tak, cuba qualify, tapi waktu qualify ada je dia punya ni kan,
Drama.
Traffic ke.
drama. So selalu jadi macam tu. So start dari belakang.
Tapi tak apalah, itu yang kelebihan ada race yang panjang-panjang sikit. Ada masa kalau qualifying tak perfect, kita boleh mengatasi dalam
Cop.
keadaan
Ni
race.
best ni, tengok ni Michael dengan Kevin. Ada button lembu lah.
Tak ada. Aku clean. Kali ni aku clean.
Alright.
Tengok.
Tengok kali masuk.
Aduh, action turn 1.
Oh,
Sebab tu
selalu berlaku sini, memang is apa tu fizik.
Yalah, itu boleh kira memang tempat prime untuk switch back punya overtaking maneuver lah.
Kita dah masuk area drift, tempat drift ni sebenarnya.
Oh, Kevin terkucil.
Kevin cuba drift. Sebab Azil cakap dah bagi tahu kat Kevin tu boleh drift kat sini, tapi dia terlambat sikit.
Ni kau dapat P10 ni.
Actually in the real world that particular section memang untuk drift.
Yeah, I believe it's a Formula D punya course
USGP. USD 1GP.
Yeah, USD 1GP and a few other things lah.
Start from here.
Memang famous sebab dia agak high speed kan for drifting.
Kecil dapat dah rhythm pakai drive ni.
Dah dapat dah rhythm pakai drive ni, okey. Cuma tak dapat lagi nak buat laju macam yang base depan lah.
Bak kicker
So-
bak kicker.
Bak kicker tadi tak maksimum sangat rasakan, tapi dia membantu banyak. Bila kita tahu
okey.
dekat curb kan dia okey, kita dah jaga.
Tak payah nak on kuat-kuat sikit-sikit je. Dia just bagi rasa je kat bontot tu je.
Betul.
Okay, OG.rootboytv ada komen, Abang Azil tenang.
Siapa tu?
Rootboy TV. Siapa?
Mock TV.
I
don't know.
Tahu. Okay, so guys, tonight is a very short session. Everybody harap-harap semua prepare. Kalau rasa tak confident lagi, please do join yang official practice. Tapi tak ada. This track is not official lah. Kan, tapi you can always join untuk sorang-sorang punya test kan, self test kan. Ada kan Abang Azril?
Ada, actually our team SSAD akan sentiasa buat private session tau. Kita orang akan sewa 1 jam, running full course.
Ajak pun
dah nama private testing.
Itulah.
private testing tak payah cakap.
Jadi rasanya kan setiap team patut ada that kind of apa tu. Oh yo, kita test 5 orang yo running full.
Okey, tak apa. Tahu tak betul, hari-hari nanti kita buat private test.
Aduh, dah kerja lah nanti.
So kita stimulate lah kan the real world punya private testing session lah kan. Ferrari datang tak boleh lah, tim Mercedes datang tengok. Betul lah.
Jap. Apa pasal Cop? Apa pasal time kita review ni 40 tiba-tiba viewers ramai? Aduh.
Dah habis race, dia orang masuk tengok live.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Karen, how's your broadcast PC performance tonight? Macam mana?
Tonight dia rasanya ya, sebab ni traffic of the yang untuk internet dah okay. Just untuk yang car punya blinking dah tak ada. Tapi sebab hari ni pun grid 24 je.
Okay, viewing Chrome dekat another PC kan, bukan the same PC kan?
I'm still maintaining the same format juga. Esok baru I nak try. Esok pagi 9 o'clock ada spa. So that one should be a very good test untuk kita nak tengok issues coming up kan.
Yalah, kita
tu
hantar
ni
tiga tim kan.
champion minta mana fighter P1 P3 punya video bagi
Bagi.
dia dah menang ni kan. Lagi dia punya review.
Itu dia.
Syamil nak tengok terkucil ke? Okey, jom kita. Syamil terkucil.
Nak tengok sampai terkucir balik.
Syarin Aufidin, Abang Azril.
Jeritan daripada Syamil.
Syarin.
Syari Nurifudin. Dia ambil macam mana break dia tak makan. Dia punya touch sikit.
Drift.
Drift. Tipu ni.
Tu pun still dapat maintain momentum juga
Dia ni tak tahulah apa makan. Dia makan apa, dia mungkin makan makanan daripada fly kan, dia lain.
Tak, biasa kita makan Maggi kari kan. Dia makan Maggi yang sup tulang tu.
Rokis dia macam pakai PVC
Betul dah.
Itu ayat tak boleh belah.
Kena screw tu.
Grafik cantik tapi tak cantik sangat lah. Tapi yang penting quality of racing agak bagus juga lah pada malam ni.
That's what we want lah.
Yes. And by the way, just a quick shout out to the team SRE guys. Ada 3 kereta ya?
Esok 3 tim untuk mengharungi 24 hours endurance of Spa. I think all of them Mercedes ke? Ataupun 2 Mercedes, 1 Ferrari?
2 MG, 1 Ferrari.
Ya.
Untuk tim Ferrari, saya ucapkan good luck lah. Dah pandai lagi orang kawal.
Matt, boleh bangun tak esok?
Esok boleh bangun tapi kena bangun pergi kerja. Tapi aku boleh join lah just.
Aku just playback apa yang kita nampak je. Kan? Maybe
Aku mungkin boleh untuk start lah. Just for the start.
Untuk stress test dia ni lah. Baru
So we will
podcast di sini.
So kita akan start buat just for the start untuk dalam setengah jam ataupun sejam. Lepas tu saya akan pergi ke kerja. Bila balik kerja nanti kita akan drop in lagi lah.
Okay guys, so ada apa-apa nak review lagi? Tak ada apa-apa? Diorang kat group mana ni? Dalam Discord tak ramai hari ni?
Rasa malam ni tak ramai, tak banyak insiden lah.
Oh, diorang team ni endurance team tengah jalan sekarang ni.
Dia tengah okay, kita.
Aku rasa aku nak join sekejap. So guys, thank you very much. Siapa nak stay tune with Discord-nya channel, will tune in apa yang I view. Okay, for the meantime, I'm going to try to load ni. Nak save ni jap.
Oh, endurance team B lah. Okay, jumpa kat sana lah.
Tak rasanya tak malam ni tak boleh nak review lah sebab ada kerja sikit nak kena buat jap. So I nak save ni jap. Save yang session ni for
4K punya event, 4K punya ni lah play.
4K kita dah try bagi dekat ni je lah, dekat Ipin dah dapat dah job screenshot. So ada ni Cil dah ada market sikit lah Cil. So ada
dapat tak cerita yang apa Growth Response Sport dapat sebagai dia punya official photographer Getty.
Getty image, yes.
Jangan main-main
Boleh buat bokeh dalam bokeh effect boleh buat ke dalam iRacing ah? Kita tengok Ipin lah boleh buat ke tak kan?
Adanya kamera setting ni lah. Aperture.
Boleh kan set up kan aperture semua tu kan?
Boleh.
Don't know.
Just graphic cardnya setting kena heavy kalau untuk screenshot ni kena heavy dekat anti-aliasing dia AA, FAF, FA dah. Dia punya apa tu graphic cardnya setting kena high lah. Kena dapat natural kan.
Tengok Ipin ni hasil lah, tengok buat satu demo lah, buat bokeh satu. Okay, see you on Sunday lah itu. Besok kita spa kan.
So kita pergi spa.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and good night guys.
Alrighty, good night.
Okay, we'll go for a quick break. Thank you Matt. I think you should go get some rest. I'm just gonna have a peek of what they're doing right now.
Alrighty, so we will say thanks to all the guys at the AMC Free Practice 1 session. Do stay tuned to this channel and we'll drop in to the guys practicing for the Spa 24-hour race. In the meantime, all that remains for me to do is to thank our sponsors, Works Engineering, Lucas Oil, Oregon Engineering, Stream.my, Simology, Pico Media, Sim Racing Enthusiast, Todak Motorsports, and Interformula. Thanks to Carbon High, he's got a fantastic range of pedals. Do check them out. FZ pedals, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's some fantastic sim equipment from those guys. But in the meantime, that's been our director, Karo Alang. My name is Matthew Palmer, and we will see you on the race this Sunday. Tara.
Hi, I'm Matt from Interformula, and welcome to our Research and Development Center. We do all forms of research and development, all the way from designing and developing our own race cars, to simulators, to running cars in racing series and rallying all over the world. We also do a lot in the Asian Classic Car Championship, so do look out for us. For any information, do contact us with the number down below.
Okay.
Alrighty guys, if you join us again at a different track with some slightly faster cars. I say slightly, but now we're watching Kelvinder Singh bomb down what looks like the Camel Straight. Right here at Spa-Francorchamps circuit for SRE Racing practice session for the Spa 24-hour event. Saya lupa nak tengok FP5 battle dapat sikit lah bos. Sekarang kita tengok Spa je, lain Spa je.
Kita pergi Spa. Sekejap nak buat setting audio jap.
Alrighty.
Wah gila bunyi V8 ni.
Yup. AMG.
Apa spec engine ni V8 turbo lah ni.
V8 very big. Apa-apa kereta AMG lumba pun V8 very very big.
Oh, quite dark track ah.
Sebab tak ada lampu.
Hmm.
So now we're coming to Piff Puff, as it's known in Spa. Coming to La Carriera and Stavolo. Real high energy corner. You got to get this corner really right. Then to the fastest part of the track, now blasting into the forest into Blanchemont. Underneath the DHL sign, that's when you start turning in, and in a high downforce car it's absolutely flat out, but in these GT3 cars you have to lift just a little bit. How much you lift really depends on how good the car's setup is. And we are coming into the bus stop chicane, crawl around there and into the start-finish straight. Absolutely fantastic racetrack, considered one of the best in the world. 8 kilometers long. Formerly it was 14 kilometers long, but a lot of the course has been cut down over the years and it's now 8. And it's considered one of the fastest and one of the longest tracks in the Formula 1 calendar. Absolute classic. Now coming down out of La Source and into Eau Rouge, which is this left-hander, coming into Radion, to the right-hander and the left-hander at the top of the hill, and onto the Camel Kink, into the DRS zone and onto the Camel Straight. This is where you get the feeling of driving alone at night on the highway, blasting through the forest. And yeah, that's roughly a lap.
So on a Ferrari.
Now, instead of a roar, we hear a snarl as Zainal Hazim rides on board around Circuit Spa Francorchamps. We're really just trying to get used to the cars right now and make sure that all the team comms are working just right.
I'm gonna adjust the angle because this is for tomorrow. So if you guys wondering what I'm doing right now, I will be adjusting the camera settings, quad camera settings. So this view is kind of this default view is kind of close to the road, so giving me nauseating, a bit nauseating.
Yeah, it's designed to give a sense of speed, which is great for cinematic stuff, but if you try and go for it for long periods of time, it might be a little bit
Let me pause it a bit
nauseating.
first and then go up a bit. This is the fun side of sim racing for broadcasters. You can put the camera wherever you want.
Oh yeah, this is a lot better than trying to paste the GoPro onto whichever part of the car the team allows you to put it on.
Yeah.
This is the kind of freedom that we just don't get. But yeah, it's quite amazing to see that there's people out there doing official photography and like photography packages for sim racing. Another great thing is also it's even gotten to the point where Gran Turismo Sport and Gran Turismo has had a long history with photo mode. They consistently had one of the best photo modes in any sort of sim racing platform. And it's nice to see that we've got recognition from Getty Images in sim racing. They've become the official photographers of Gran Turismo Sport, which is absolutely insane to think about. But hopefully it grows and continues to carry on. Just watch Zano has a bomb around the track. Now these guys have got another hour to go, so I will leave you to it as I try and get some of my, well, I say beauty sleep, I'm not that good looking. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Night, man.
Good night.
Okay, so we're just gonna see. Kita akan tengok sekejap. Team B, this should be Team B rasanya. Terdiri daripada Kelvin Desing, Tengku Irsyad, Dominic Ang, Muhammad Zafri, Zainul Hazim, Syarul Jaafar, Afiq Fadlan, Malvin Dijizik dan Tanzili Yusof. So Team B ni dorang tengah practice untuk qualifying rasanya. So optimum time dia berapa yang boleh dapat. So harap project. Hi there. And this is a practice session of two types of cars. Let me get those logos up for you guys to see. There you go. We have 5 AMGs and 4 Ferraris. So this is a practice for Team B and Team C. I think both teams. Team A had done their practice earlier today. So in the lead we have Kelvin De Singh driving an AMG. Quite dark here, so it's not well lit. Let's go on board his cockpit. See his sector time. Still really good. It's improving bit by bit. It's all purpose sectors. Best time of 218.847. Practice is 2 hours and they have less than 52 minutes to go. So tonight's only is going to be a test for on our broadcast side to fine tune the camera settings to be covered tomorrow. Should be okay. Let's go on board a Ferrari. Very nice inside, well lit. Anybody still watching, you can comment on the live stream. Teman aku, teman aku nak dah tidur. Tengku Irshad driving an AMG also. So for team names, I think they haven't registered yet. Yeah, not yet. Maybe tomorrow. Okay, this is just a quick test of the 24-hour broadcast we're gonna do, but we're gonna be doing quick sessions of 1 to 2 hours each. So thank you for watching, everybody. Matt's gone to sleep to get his rest. He's gonna be working in his shop tomorrow. Meanwhile, we'll try to get maximum coverage on the start of the race tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. They will be practicing first and qualifying, followed by maybe a one hour coverage of the first 20 laps maybe. So thanks for watching, everybody, and see you tomorrow morning.